Possessions. Let us briefly discuss possession, since it is a continuing problem on Earth due to the naivety of the population here. We have discussed that all people have an astral form or astral body, which they can separate from the physical body and use for trips while alive and healthy. There are practitioners of witchcraft operating on Earth who sell the bodies of young, healthy humans to other beings on the astral plane who want a physical body and do not want to wait for the natural sequence of reincarnation to take place. These people set themselves up as priests and claim to do a ritual which will make you born again. In this ritual, they get you to leave your physical body via some method and have arranged for the astral entity to whom they are selling your body to be close at hand. He or she, astral entities, have sex, moves into the space your astral body is normally in and stays there. Therefore, you cannot return to your physical body, and although it is still alive with its new owner in control, you have essentially been murdered and your physical lifetime is ended. There are some checks on this sort of thing. Angels and devils are the good guys and bad guys of the astral world, and they compete and check each other similar to good and bad guys in the physical world. However, when you willingly enter into some ritual like this, you are unconsciously giving permission for this to be done to you. In other words, you are committing suicide. Please be cautious about this. It is a lucrative occult business here on Earth. I want now to get into a bit more detail on possession, the act and practice of stealing another person's physical body. First, I should state, for those of you who feel that dangerous secrets are being given out, that this ancient art has been known and practiced since the dawn of the creation, and it is practiced today. The information we will give here is far from secret. You can find it in books dealing with witchcraft, sorcery, and the occult. Also, covens of witches who practice in the United States sell correspondence courses through the mail which teach you to become a witch, and which give detailed instructions on how to do a possession. IGC Law. Stealing another person's body so you can artificially extend your physical lifetime is a crime. It is equal to murder because the soul you dispossessed has lost its life, even though his or her body is still alive, with you now in control of it. When IGC enforcement comes upon these situations, the stolen body is destroyed, and also the sorcerer or whoever helped you do this act receives the immediate death penalty. Example: Adolf Hitler. It has now been published that Adolf Hitler did not die but rather faked his death and continued to live for some time in Brazil. When I heard Brazil, I thought, why Brazil of all places? Then I realized that Brazil has many psychic practitioners, and people from the United States and other countries routinely go to Brazil for psychic healing and the like. People like Hitler greatly fear death because they sort of know what is waiting for them and the penalties that they will pay for their crimes against God and humanity. So, while spiritual students do not fear death and even sometimes look forward to it and to their release from this creation and return to God, dictators and other evil masterminds try their best to avoid physical death. Therefore, it is very likely that Hitler is still physically alive and using a stolen physical body. It is also very likely that he is in the United States at some secret location and that he is assisting the United States government in its top-secret New World Order plans. This is because the New World Order plan is based on Nazi philosophy. The plan is, basically, to kill all humans who do not have white skin and either blue or hazel eyes. These two categories were the ones Hitler advocated as the master race. So, if Hitler still lives, he would be most welcome in the United States at the present time, because the US government is doing exactly what he tried to do and failed to accomplish about 70 years ago. The price of ignorance. Ignorance is expensive. We have already discussed the present US government policy of simply pretending that the other realities, astral, etc., do not exist. However, this policy may well backfire in the not-too-distant future, because what it has accomplished is to make it open season for all those various groups that practice witchcraft and possessions and other psychic stuff, because they know they can do whatever they want and get off scot-free, since the things they do are officially classified as non-existent. Let's take, for example, a real case some time back of a father who is not crazy and who, in fact, was quite well respected and had no history of strange behavior. This man woke up one morning and his bed was full of blood, and his wife and kid were dead with their pieces scattered all around. Of course, he had no memory of this. Since the circumstantial evidence indicated that he was the only one in a position to commit this crime, he was charged with murder. However, the judge recognized that something weird had taken place here, and so the man was released. Now, this is a case of possession. Some screwball, probably using instructions from a witchcraft correspondence course of the type presently marketed in the United States, wanted to have some fun and got control of this man's body and committed these heinous crimes. We have no system to prosecute people like this because our silly scientists say these things are impossible. If this event had taken place on an N3 planet, the justice system there would have referred the matter to IUC enforcement. They would then run an Akashic trace and located the guy or gal who had possessed this man's body, and they would be hunted down and taken and put to death. Access to information on how to do a possession is far from secret because secret groups sell this information and they advertise quite openly in psychic-type magazines. Additionally, there is a subtle recruitment program that is initiating young people into witchcraft without telling them what is happening. This involves certain popular games that are sold. In these games, there are sequences of affirmations that you do, and these affirmations are calls for establishing a connection with an entity in the astral world. Consequently, many young people who get into these games are becoming legitimate witches or warlocks, and they do not know that this is what is really taking place. Often the games will tell the child that he or she is going to get an imaginary playmate. What they really get is a very real astral entity, and they will most likely be stuck with this entity for life.